Okay, Robert, how's your day been so far?
It's been pretty fantastic. Woke up, did a couple business calls, went to the gym. Now I'm doing a podcast with you. I got a podcast at 11. I got a film shoot at 2:30. Got a film shoot at 4 o'clock. And then come back, do some production. And then after that, I fly to Australia on Saturday. So I'm a busy man. I'm a busy man. How about you, man? How you
Sure.
doing? You're in Sweden, right?
Yeah, I'm in Sweden, so it's cold and it's windy, and it will be in a few months winter. So I'm trying to hold on for dear life as it is. But I'm jealous of you that you're in Florida. But what can I do? What can I do?
Hey, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah, that's obvious. But when do you normally go up in the mornings?
I'm usually up by like 7. I'm not a really early riser guy, but I've learned to really just kind of pack my day and be super productive in a very short amount of time. I don't know where I learned that, but um, I really trained myself on a very high work ethic. So I'm up by 7. I usually go paddleboarding in the ocean by 7:15, 7:30. I'm back by 8:05, showered. I'm at my desk by 8:30, and then from about 8:30 to 9. I just crank straight through on all my projects and everything that I have to get done.
And when do you go to sleep? So you're done with work
Probably like it depends really. I mean, if it's a really really heavy production day, we're probably going to sleep at like 1 or 2, but normally maybe around 11. So it's a very interesting thing, and people talk about, and some people may agree with me on this, I don't know, but they talk about getting up like super early, you get extra time in the day and all that good stuff, and I'm totally about that, and I think it's great. It's just the way that I operate, I definitely need sleep, because when I'm going at 250%, and I'm in such a zone that I get every single thing I need to do to it done. Like, the other day, as an example, I made 10 video ads, built a website, built a landing page, scheduled out my promotion for my businesses, made about 4 or 5 1-hour sales calls, had an hour for personal development, 2 workouts in the day. I do 2 workouts a day, by the way. And so it's just, how are you using the time that you are given? Like, what are you doing in that time? Because you could wake up at 4, but you could just kind of meander around for 2 hours. I would rather wake up at 7 and get everything done, and then between those times just rock and roll and be super productive. So yeah, it's a very interesting viewpoint that people can have on that,
Yeah,
and that's
because
mine.
many people around the world, they try to inspire you to go up 5 in the morning, or like you said, 4 in the morning. But I agree with you totally on this one, because you need to have your energy to be even to even have the chance to do what you want to do during the day. So I'm on you 100% on this one.
Yeah.
How does your life look like today? Where and what do you work on at the moment?
So what I do on a daily basis, so I have a production company called Syslo Ventures, and what I do there is I focus on video production, web design, graphic design, and creating content for other business owners, businesses, and influencers. So I'm like the supplier of everything that people have, and then create that for them so that they're able to produce. My other company is called Interview Blueprint. And what I do there is I help college students and veterans with online training to get jobs, because it's just such a, when you're coming out of college, or when you're later on in life, let's say you quit your job and you're trying to find a new opportunity. How do you do that? How do you communicate on that? How do you make sure that people are, going to pick you over the competition? So I'm a very busy guy. But I prefer it that way. When I don't have anything to do, I kind of go a little nuts, and I'd rather not have that. I rather enjoy just high levels of operation, nonstop action, just go, 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 go.
Mm. And what made you start your own first business?
So what made me start my own first business was, at my previous employer, I was really inspired by, all of the entrepreneurs that were there, all the business owners that I came into contact with. And I was motivated. It was the first time I was really exposed to anything like that before in my life. Meaning, how to create a business, how to scale a business, how to do sales, how to close deals, how to do marketing campaigns, how to do advertising campaigns. And I was really fortunate enough to be allowed to create inside of an environment a digital ad agency there. It was a product that didn't exist, and it was a perfect complement to the other products that were there. And I fully believed, I was like, look, we have an opportunity here. And I just kind of kept at it and kept pushing on it. And I proved to myself that I could build something on my own. I had resources and they helped me out and it was beautiful. But towards the end, I remember I was sitting there at my desk and I was doing, maybe 200 to 350 calls a day. And, running a team of 26 people and managing about 35 clients. And I just said to myself, I'm an employee still. And there's something about that for me as a spiritual person, as a individual, that it violated a lot of my personal integrity. So, and that was a problem. Like I would come home and I would be upset and I would be like, what is wrong? Like, why would I not be happy? I'm making the most money I've ever made in my life. I live on the ocean. I drive a cool sports car. I have 2 cars. And I get to do what I love, but I'm still not happy. And I really got down to what it is, and what I needed was just autonomy. I needed my own ability to create. I needed my own runway to run on. And it was just burning up inside. It was like, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. It was like, when a race car is at the starting line and the tires are spinning, but it ain't going anywhere, That's kind of what I felt like. I had a Ferrari V12 engine, but I was screaming at 8,000 RPM, but I wasn't going anywhere. And so I just ethically made the decision to leave and, left them with a full hat write-up of all my responsibilities. I did training videos on how to do my job, a 58 to 60, I don't know the exact number, hour training program on branding and marketing and advertising in a very cool company. And that was it. And I worked right up till 6 p.m. my last day. I was still making phone calls to close deals. I was still servicing my clients. I was still producing content. It was literally just, how am I going to do this in the most ethical way possible? Because I think that's important, You spend so much time with a group of people. You help build something. You help create something. I think it's a little bit of a, excuse my terminology here, but dick move to be like, hey, I'm out of here. Goodbye. I think there's a very responsible way to leave something. And, some people might not agree with me on that, but it is what it is. And that's just how I do it because that's my style. So it was really, what is it that was not being done in my universe that I knew should be done that I wasn't doing, and I just had to do it.
And I think also that people, they say that they will finish at top, but they don't do it. So it's different there. So it's really good that people can listen to what you have to say about this, because I think that's really important. How do you reach your own goals? How do you come up with them, and what do you do to achieve them?
How do I reach my own goals? Man, that's a beautiful question. So I have a planner here. It's by Wise, which is a Scientology-based organization. I'm a Scientologist, and I literally write every single day a battle plan, and then I also write where I want to go and what I want to do for the month. So the purpose of that really just keeps my focus on what I have to get done today. I don't really get too caught up in, oh my God, I want a Ferrari, oh my God, I want a jet, oh my God, I want a bigger car, I want all these things, because I know those will come. I just really focus on, all right, what do I have to get done today? Who do I have to close today? Who do I have to follow up with today? So my goals, I have the long-term goals in the distance that I see, but I also knock out every single short-term goal or project that's immediately in front of me, because I don't like having any of my clients with a project that is unfinished, that's been open for a while. I personally start to go a little crazy with it. I'm like, oh my God, we have to get this done. It's driving me mad. So I really just want to make sure that, number one, we do all the short-term things that I have to do. Like today, a podcast, the next podcast, the film shoots, and getting ready to go to Australia. Like, that's a short-term goal for me. I have to get those done. And if I don't get those done, I failed. I have to do a second workout. That's also a short-term goal. Long-term goal, I need to hire 3 more people. I need to get my company up over 7 figures in the next 3 months, which we're doing pretty close. So we're rocking and rolling here. But So it's a combination of both, but I make sure that in order to achieve a long-term goal, that I also knock out every single short-term goal to build up the confidence in myself that I can get a long-term goal. Because if all I focus on is a long-term goal, I'm not going to be able to handle, when that actually arrives. And I just got to build up the foundation with all of the short-term stuff, knowing, hey, I get things done. I get things done. I get things done. I do this. I get things done. I get things done. And that just reinforces my ability to hit something major.
But if you don't have any goals in life to work against, how do you find out what you want in life?
You're asking me, what do you do if you don't have any goals?
Yeah.
Man, that's a really good question. Well, I mean, can you never have how do I say that? Can you never not have any goals? Because if you go back
sorry, but I think sometimes people put pressure on themselves to find out what they want in life, and then it's like it feels almost like it's too much pressure on them to set goals.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would look at it. I would look at it with a little bit of a different viewpoint. So the pressure is just going to be like, I can tell you right now, when I was working as an employee and I was doing the things I was doing, pressure was there. When you get out on your own, it's even more pressure because you're the accountant, you're the sales guy, you're the closer, you're the accounts receivable, you're the product producer, you're the deliverable, you're the marketer, you're everything. And then you have to hire people to do all those things as well. So the pressure just gets bigger. The game gets bigger, right? So I don't look at it as pressure. I really don't. I look at it as a necessity. You just have to do this. And when you look at it like that, see, pressure puts you in a position where you feel like you can't do anything. And it's like this massive force that's pushing you down and pushing you down and pushing you down. Or you can look at it as like, no, I'm creating this. Yes, I'm making that happen. Yes, I have an enormous amount of work I have to get done. Yes, I have to pay the bills. And you just take full responsibility for it. And it turns the viewpoint around into being like, oh, well, it's not really pressure. It's just I'm doing what I need to do. So if you could change the viewpoint from, oh, I have so much pressure and I don't know how I'm going to handle all this, to I'm just going to get done what I need to get done, that's a totally different viewpoint, right? Now, if you don't have any goals with that, or you're feeling pressure because I have to do this, like it's totally the wrong reason for you to do something. Like it should not feel that way. It should really be something where you're like, I enjoy doing this. I'm excited about this. I could continue to do this every single day for 12 hours a day for the next 365 days or however many days are in the rest of your life. And that's where you need to get to. If you want to put pressure on yourself, put your pressure on finding that first. Finding what is the ideal situation for you. What is the thing that you want to experience every single day, because then everything else doesn't matter. You won't care that you have an enormous amount of workload. You won't care that you're like, oh, I got a product deadline, because now you're playing a game that you've created, not because other people said, hey, what's your goal? You need to create goals. Yeah, we all need to create goals, but what we really need to find out is, okay, what am I going to do every single day that I can grow into something? That's where you should start. I wouldn't start with, man, I need to blah, 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 blah. Because if you don't have that foundation, it's just not going to work. And that's just how I operate in my business, right? So when I work with a client, they may have 100 different ideas. They may have all these abstract concepts and all these things, and that's great. But we need a runway. We need bricks. We need cement to start. And if we don't have that, we're not going anywhere. So priority one is, what's the foundation? What are the bricks? Where are we going to build from? You find that, everything else is easy. Pressure is not a consideration anymore.
And do you have any routines you follow to strengthen your own mindset?
Yeah, so I spend every day about, I would say maybe an hour and a half on myself. Just doing my own personal development. As I said, I'm a Scientologist, so I do a lot of courses on business, a lot of courses on communication, a lot of courses on understanding how to be a more ethical individual in life to help people. So every weekend I spend about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours on a course of some kind that helps me better myself so that I can deliver better products, deliver better service, reach more people, help more people. Because really, underneath everything about who I really am is I'm just a really helpful guy. And I don't like when someone is having an issue. I don't like when someone's having a problem. I go into immediate, I have to handle this. I have to help this person. I have to give them something that maybe I know that will give them a better opportunity in life. So I spend about as much time on myself as I do on my clients every single day.
And what can you do to silence your inner negative voice and become more positive?
That's a really wonderful question, actually. So what I do is I get really busy and I write my goals down. And as I said in the beginning, I talk about knocking out these short-term things. And the more smaller things or short-term things you get completed, the more confidence you gain and the faster you can silence whatever that negative voice is. Because I still have, every now and then I'll have a moment like, I don't know if this is going to work. What am I going to do? How am I going to, and I start freaking out. And then I just go back to, look at what you have accomplished so far on your own. Look at the things that you have gotten done in a day that 12 people couldn't do in 4 days. So if you can reinforce your actions with small, completed cycles of action, you will not have a negative voice whatsoever. If you take the time to align yourself with the right people, you also will not have negative voices in your head. I have spent too many times with the wrong people, and I realized that when I was around them, I started getting super negative. And I was like, what is this? This is not me. This is not how I think. This is not how I communicate. This is not how I act. What's going on? And I realized it was the person I was around. And I'm like, oh my God, this is what this person says every second of the day. And I'm adopting it as my own viewpoint. And that is totally incorrect. So I got rid of them in a nice way. You're like, hey, I got to go. I wish you the best. And then you get on your own and you reconfigure yourself. And you're like, oh, I found me again. Okay, now I know what direction I'm going in. Now I know what I'm saying. Now I know what's going on. And so I just really take the time to watch who I'm around and make sure I complete everything, because it's a small win. And it really does wonders for you when you look back over the course of 5 days and you're like, oh my God, look at the production that I've created and finished. I am a genuine badass. Okay, I can actually do this. And you just see your own production. You see your own creation. And that's enough for you to keep going. And you don't have any more doubts because you know that you get things done.
Who outside your family has inspired you most in life and why?
Wow, that's a good question. So, I would say the people that have really inspired me on multiple levels. The first guy who I ever listened to on just motivation, life, and thought was Napoleon Hill. That was super inspiring. Obviously, Grant Cardone had a lot to do with my inspiration. Les Brown is another guy that I love tremendously. My business partner, David Jensen, also. L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology. All that information just really gives me a good foundation to build from. Who else would I say? There's so many people that have just come across my life that I have, taken pieces from and created Robert Syslo. And so I look at, what is this person creating? Is that information immediately applicable? Does that information get me immediate results? If it gets me immediate results, then I'm going to use it. And that's what I do. So, yeah, man, that's who inspires me and where my inspiration came from.
That's great. Thank you so much, Robert Syslo, for being part of the show. If someone wants to connect with you, how do they reach out?
So you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter at Robert Syslo Jr. You can also check out my website, sysloventures.com. You can take a look at what I have going on there. I'm super active on all my Instagram stories, and whoever just messages me on Instagram, I respond to everyone. So I'm very, very open. I'm very reachable, and we can talk anytime.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.